Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Welcome to episode 836. We are in Birmingham. That means it's football season here for the Media Day, SWAC 2026 SWAC Football Media Day. Let me give the proper introduction as we do our show. Welcome to episode 836 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small. From the NEIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just call it HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington. And yes, he is on assignment. And Charles Bishop. We're filming from our home studios, sending a signal live to KCWA's 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer, that is Ralph Cooper, in a beautiful home at Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. But as I told you, we're out of the barn. They got us live here in Birmingham, and I have none other than Charles Bishop, AD, Drew, and Carter over here bringing it to us live. You know, and we have to watch Carter over there. He just
I like hanging out with Kid.
Kelvin Carter.
All right.
He's the troublemaker. With that being said, let me ask y'all how y'all doing today. Charles, how you doing?
Doing well, Doc. Safe flight coming in from Houston. Happy to be here and see all our colleagues coming in and get an opportunity. I'm sure later on we'll sit down and enjoy each other's company.
Good stuff. Drew?
I just thank all y'all alphas up here on this stage for letting the non-alpha join y'all up here on this stage. Which one of these is not like the other?
It's all good. But if you get a little cold, you understand why.
A little distinction rub off on you.
But not ice cold.
No doubt.
No, great day. Easy drive in from St. Louis today. So glad to be here. I think it's like my fourth year with you guys. So this has been a blessing to have met AD and Roy. And so, it's SWAC Media Day. It's about that time.
Yeah, it's about that time. With that being said, today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is brought to you by THG Agency, which is a company that provides sporting, educational, consulting, and data analytics. Let's jump right into it, gentlemen. We're here. It's time to talk about the SWAC. We will get the official release tomorrow. We did get a Black College Sports polls release, which had several of the SWAC programs involved. What are your thoughts in terms of, will that be accurate of what you'll see tomorrow in terms of the poll rankings, or will you see something different? Just to recall for those that are listening, you had FAMU at number 10 in the ranking. You had Texas Southern at number 9. You had Bethune-Cookman at number 8. Grambling State at 7. Then you jump up to the elite programs, top 5 if you would. You had 4 with Alabama State, 3 Jackson State, and Prairie View 2. So you had 7 of the programs of the top 10 coming out of SWAC, which should make for a crazy season. But starting with you, Charles, what are your thoughts in terms of how that will relate to tomorrow's release of the division alignment?
I think always polls put chips on people's shoulders. So I think that's one of the things that's going to jump out tomorrow. Like, I can't believe they got us where they have us. And things. So, that's always the first thing. You kind of have to wade through that a little bit. But I think that the poll is very accurate in terms of the representation of the parity that you see from top to bottom in the conference. I think, Alcorn is going to be another team that we're going to talk about a lot on tomorrow, because I think they're going to be one of those sneaky teams that you better pay attention to this upcoming season.
Kelvin, you're probably excited to hear that. But besides that,
Well, I mean, I think it goes into a lot of our conversations about should those out of conference games be played against the MEAC, right? Because if I look at that South Carolina State matchup, what I see is we'll get an early test of that with the North Carolina Central Texas Southern game early on. That'll show you like
that's a good
what
point.
is that early balance of the MEAC versus the SWAC. And then it'll test the theory there. And like you said, with the pedagogy, we'll be able to make some reasonable assessments.
Yep, and then you have the big one on ABC between Howard and Alabama A&M.
Yes.
So we get a couple of early indications between that MEAC SWAC matchup. So I like that. And then into the season, we got one or two more. But outside of that, when you talk about the black college football poll, you have Jackson State and Tennessee State, which is historical in a lot of ways. That'll be fascinating. But I'll come back maybe to ask you a little bit about that. Let me go to you, AD Drew. What are your thoughts in terms of where will the rankings lean tomorrow? Will they follow suit in terms of what the coaches and SWAC media said coming in with the preseason rankings? Or will you see some different lineups come tomorrow when they release the rankings expected finishes for these teams tomorrow?
Doc, Charles, Kelvin, I'm ashamed we're talking about the preseason poll and we missed the obvious storyline. Who is going to give Valley their vote again this year? Every year, somebody gives Valley a first place vote.
Let me go in my mic invitation. Valley?
Valley? Somebody wants to be Karnak. So,
But besides that intriguing question, it's the debate at the top, because we know the SIDs are voting. Every institution, I believe, gets 2 votes.
That's correct.
For this one. So the debate at the top, Alabama State, Jackson State, defending champion Prairie View. Which one of those do their peers think is actually going to be there? You've got Alabama State, who arguably has the best player in the conference.
I can answer that.
You have Prairie View, who's defending conference champion, and then you have Jackson State, who's been a perennial power for the last 5-6 years in the conference. So which one of those three do their 4 years for the last 5, but which one of those do their peers think is going to be the team that they need to knock off is going to be the question that I really am interested in seeing.
I'm going to let Charles answer that because he says he has the answer. Yeah. So, Charles, what is the answer?
Yeah, I think Alabama State coming in has to be, I think a lot of people are looking at that as the team to knock down the door. With Andrew Body coming back, always the question will be his health. But is this the year we crown Eddie Robinson Jr.? And I think that will be one of the storylines tomorrow. Can they actually exercise the demon that has been Jackson State University?
Well, homecoming at this year. Whose homecoming are they playing on this year?
Actually, Jackson goes to
Montgomery,
November 14th. Circle
it's not homecoming.
No, it's not homecoming.
So
Circle that one on your calendar.
That's not a homecoming game for either one this year.
November 14th.
I'm glad for that, though.
Oh, yeah.
So Prairie View also goes to Montgomery. When you start looking at these schedules, I tell folks, look at schedules. People get excited with players, and we'll talk about Andrew Body before we close out this segment, which will be certainly important in terms of what that looks like. But people oftentimes get enamored by coaches, which I think makes sense. Who are some of the better coaches in the league? Their expectations up there. And then people fall in love with brand names. Sure. All over the country, no matter what league, people love brand names. We have brand names in the SWAC, and people tend to get excited when these brand names play. To their credit, Jackson State is one of those brand names has lived up to it. Yep. Another one, Southern, has not, and we got a coaching change. FAMU did not, so we have a coaching change.
Traditional brand name, Grambling.
Is a good one. Yeah. Because I literally had forgot about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a strong lineage. But I got a question for the group then, based
You
upon
not
the
mad at
poll.
me because I didn't call Alcorn State a brand name?
No, it's not a brand name.
Oh.
Cassim is a brand name.
Ah,
How about that?
I will
Much
let
respect.
the Alcorn State fan base take you up on that one.
Cassim is a brand name. But
Big
if
three.
you look at that poll that just came down, though,
Yes.
they actually had Jackson ahead of Bama State on that poll.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder
point.
how the poll tomorrow will reflect it. Will those teams fall in that order? Although it is a divisional piece.
What I really like about your point is that poll also includes the media.
Yes.
While tomorrow will not include the media. So will it be a differential? Go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say, when we look at the poll, outside of seeing which one is 1, 2, and 3, let's look at the first place votes, though. That's the line of the poll I really am interested in when it comes among those three. How many first place votes, despite, if we saw it in the Black College poll, you had teams who had more first place votes but less points overall. So that's either that boom or bust with a particular institution and everything. So those are the little storylines that I'll be looking for tomorrow when that poll is released.
Let's take our first break. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to get into the Eastern Division.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep this team together, and then we'll take a segment where we get in the Western Division, and we'll bring on Joe Clay that does 1876 sports and culture, and add a little flavor in terms of looking at it from a West perspective. But after this break, we'll come back on the other side and look at the Eastern Division and see what the gentlemen will think about that specifically. We'll be right back after this first break.
Good job, y'all. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a state, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image.
Ever told yourself, I want to get into real estate but don't know where to start? Here's something just for you. From Friday, July 31st to Sunday, August 2nd, the Learn Real Estate Fast Masterclass is coming to McKenzie Office Park in College Park. You'll learn wholesaling, commercial investing, and how to purchase property with zero money or credit. I can tell you, education and access are everything. This masterclass is designed to give you both. Whether you're brand new or ready to level up, this is where you start making real moves. Enjoy free lunch, free study materials, and receive a certification of completion. So don't wait. Seats are filling fast. Do not sit on the sidelines while others build wealth. Take that first step toward ownership and legacy. Get your tickets now at learnrealestatefast.com or tickpick.com. For more information, call 678-859-3303. Master the market, build your legacy, secure your future today.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Introducing the HBCU Trivia Game. It's more than a board game, it's a journey to the legacy of historically black colleges and universities. Here's how it works. 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, start as freshmen and roll the dice to advance. But here's the twist. You can only move forward by answering trivia questions about HBCU. Test your knowledge of notable alumni, key historical events, sports milestones, and fun HBCU facts. Watch out for spaces that can propel you ahead or set you back. And if you get a question wrong, you stay put until your next turn. The first to reach graduation wins! The HBCU Trivia Game. Support, educate, entertain! Available now. Let the journey begin.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL on August 29th with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota, representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard, Bulldogs, Bison, the Marching Maroon and White, the Showtime Marching Band, the premier FCS matchup in primetime with a kickoff trophy up for grabs. Join us pre-game for band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, and we have the professors live in Birmingham, Alabama at the Sheraton Hotel for the 2026 SWAC Football Media Day. Giving you an early indication as we are live on set here. We promised you as we went to break that we'd talk about the Eastern Division. We have some folks that are intimately knowledgeable about the Eastern Division and all things HBCU sports for that matter. But let's get into it when we think about it. Starting with Alabama A&M. Let's do that when you got Sam Shade coming back for his second year, down the year to his expectation. But that's what happened when he was at Miles.
Yeah.
Started off slow, but ultimately before he left, which in a lot of ways probably pushed him to the Alabama A&M game. When he was at Miles, he won the championship game. So I want to get a little indication when you think about Alabama A&M, what do they bring to the table this year, Charles?
Well, I think with Alabama A&M, it was a tale of two seasons. With Quad Brown, this was a team that was averaging over 30 points a game and close to 400 yards per game offensively. After his injury, that's when you saw Alabama A&M really tail off. But they were putting some points up when Quad Brown under center, and he comes back this season for another season. If you're Cornelius Brown. So it'll be very interesting to kind of watch and see what this offense is able to do with regards to watching Alabama A&M. And Sam Shade, year two, like he did at Miles, looking for marked improvement on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating when you think about Alabama A&M. Got to see Quad Brown here earlier today. Obviously, the beginning of the season, he looks healthy. He's a young adult, so mentally he's going to see a different thing when you talk about the game. Question, again, is his health. Can he stay healthy? If you do that, things could look very upwards real quick.
Heck of a golfer, too.
Let's go into Alabama State. Eddie Robinson Jr. Back. He really took a huge step last year and almost jumped the Rubicon, but could not get it quite done. But you have Andrew Body, preseason conference player of the year from an offensive standpoint. He looks mentally ready to go. Again, a similar question. Can he stay healthy? What do you think about Kelvin Carter? What do you think about Alabama State this year?
I think they'll be really strong. Body is the great equalizer, but I do think if it was because we watched it, I believe I was watching the Alabama State Jack State game at our Alcorn tailgate because we were coming out of a game. And I just feel like with regards to that, I think Jackson has really got something to prove, and they're going to play that game on the road. And I think Alabama State will have the same production too because they do have the best offensive player. But I do think that they'll be maybe a distant second because they're going to struggle with Alabama A&M.
So I guess the biggest thing in watching Andrew Body last year, the progression that he's made as a passer. I think that was the thing that jumped out tremendously with me last year. We know that he has the athletic ability to take off and make plays, but he was picking teams apart with his arm last year. And that's not something I always said, I attributed to Andrew Body, but last year was the year of like he made a huge leap in my eyes.
Yeah, the UAB game kind of showed that too. It jumped out the gate, it jumped all over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they were right up the street, right up the street, got jumped on.
Right across town.
Andy Drew, let me go to you. I'm gonna go into Bethune-Cookman, and I'm gonna stick with you because I want to. After that, we're gonna go to FAMU. So be prepared for that. What are your thoughts in terms of Bethune-Cookman? They have to look at the quarterback position. Really closed the season well last year. Had the huge, obviously, monkey off the back in terms of defeating FAMU in the Florida Classic, which was huge. What are your thoughts in terms of Bethune-Cookman coming this year? Can they take the next step where they really get in the mix for the top of the conference?
Well, that is the question. can Bethune-Cookman take the next step? They closed the season tremendously, going on a run there, finished above 500, which really haven't been able to say that about
Yeah,
Bethune-Cookman
in a while.
in a while and everything. Said pre-pandemic, with them finishing up that high. Terry Sims, I believe, last time they were above 500 there, and that's the question: can they solve the quarterback position? Because defensively they did excellent last year. Great running game, couple of fluke plays and everything, or do they regress back to the Bethune Cookman that we saw lost to Clark Atlanta 2 years ago?
Right. Woo.
So that's going to be the thing. Do they continue the progression forward, or does Bethune again?
Yeah, when they said winning record, we're talking about conference play winning record,
Yes.
6-6 overall for those that are checking on that. But let me stick with you, Drew. Let's go to FAMU. Different coach at the top. A lot of people were excited about the move. Obviously, Quinn Gray Sr. Got it done at Albany State. But this first year, while there are a lot of expectations from some, you do have the point in terms of them not being able to play for the championship. Do you believe that'll play in their favor, or will they go outside of that? They bring over Isaiah Knowles that you've seen out of the SIC. Give me your thoughts overall on FAMU.
Here's the question: does Quinn Gray continue the Division II to Division I head coach bump that we have seen
The last couple of years.
the last 3-4 years with some of these people that have made that step? I mean, heck,
That's
you
a good
got
point.
championship game coach T-Jack Chennis over at South Carolina State, just to name a couple of them who had instant success after having success on the Division II level. But they do have that cloud hanging over the program with the 1-year postseason ban. But this is what we're missing. It's not the postseason ban that's the problem, everybody. It's the reduction in practice time and some of the other things
Good call.
that could potentially lead. It helps that Quinn Gray is bringing a bunch of his Albany State players to that level, so that may help balance that, because he has people who actually know his system that can work with the guys when they can't have official practice. They can still have those meetings, those one-on-ones with their new teammates, and kind of help them understand the system. Versus if he didn't have all those transfers coming with him, it may be a little bit of a tougher challenge. But just like you say, with Bethune, FAMU will FAMU when it comes to the off the field stuff, and they have FAMU'd again.
That's a good point.
Well, here's
Good
a piece
point.
around the FAMU piece that I would think. In this climate, though, everybody's got something to prove. And although there's not a postseason ban, you got guys that could look at this as the ultimate opportunity, and FAM becomes very, very, very dangerous.
Last thing I'm gonna say on that: 2018, FAMU, similar position, self-imposed ban, or was it 2019? But in the MEAC, and they actually record-wise won the MEAC, even though they were unable to compete in the Celebration Bowl. Henceforth, one of those A&T titles that we saw to close out the 29. So history showed that it can be done.
Right. Charles, let's move over to Jackson State. T.C. Taylor, one of my favorite coaches out there. Had him in the hunt for a Texas Southern job a couple of years ago. I'll put that out there. I told him. That was but with that being said, he's at home, so he's happy getting it done. What do you think in terms of them? You got Jared Lockhart coming back for his sophomore year. He ended the year really strong last year, was able to get them and host a championship game, even though Prairie View got it done on the road for the first time for a team losing at home. I imagine there's some feelings about that, about them finding a way to get back. How much do they use that to push them? Because you often have coaches also talk about last year.
Yeah.
How does that work for Jackson State this year?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a huge chip on Jackson State's shoulder this upcoming season. When you take a look at it, Prairie View came into the belly of the beast, Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium, and got the W. I told our fan base last season, before you start, planning your trip to Atlanta. Hold on, this is a good team. And Jackson State got humbled a little bit last year. One of the DNA of Jackson State football, the meat and potatoes of Jackson State football is a strong running game, massive road graders up front, and they lost some pieces last year. They lost Davenport, they lost Ahmad Miller, they lost Travis Terrell. Two of those guys went to FBS programs. They lost a couple of pieces along the offensive line. So what did TC Taylor and Coach O go and go find in terms of getting into the toy box and finding some other players that can step up for this Jackson State football team? Another thing that I think is going to be a storyline. I think the defense, it was a good defense, but it wasn't the defense of 2024. I think the secondary took a step back last year. Can they come back and play sort of that lights out defense that they played back in the 2024 season? So I think a huge chip on their shoulder. I think the fan base is ready to get back in the mix. Jackson State fans, they love to talk, and they got humbled last year. So I think, when you all that tsunami of stuff puts a chip on Jackson State's shoulder.
As long as Jackson State got
great point. Now, I told y'all about TC Taylor in Texas Southern University. I just wanted to be known, since I'm fair out there, when you talk about Jermaine Jackson, I recommended him as well. He was high on an interview. And then we have a Chennis Berry in the MEAC League. I also had him on the list. So if y'all want head coaches, y'all might need to come to Dr. Cavil. Never mind. I don't want the consulting problems. I'm just telling you. Unless y'all paying well, then we can talk. If not, never mind. So let's get in here to Valley. We got Valley, Mississippi Valley. Yes, that Valley. But you got Terrell Buckley, second season coming out. Got the big win over FAMU to close things out when people wasn't looking at it.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. All right.
Can they beat somebody else besides FAMU? That's the question we need to start with, Dr. Cavil.
Yes. What do you think about Mississippi Valley coming into the season?
Well, it's interesting. We were just having a conversation about historical context around Valley, and somebody brought up the fact that even when Jerry Rice played, they still didn't win the championship. They were just really, really good.
They were really good.
And so I think right about now, if he could eke out 4 wins, possibly 5, period. It doesn't matter SWAC, in SWAC. It might galvanize that base, but I do think with Dr. Shields and that group up there that are really investing a lot of capital into this program, and not just money, but all the things around social capital. I've seen the things they're doing on campus with the kids in the community. I think we're in a place in time where they're primed to bring a product to the Delta that people can be proud of.
Yeah, the question always with Valley year in, year out is the depth. They fight you hard, first half, first couple quarters, whatever the case might be, and they sort of wear thin in the second half of games. And when the snowball gets going, then it kind of rolls downhill in Valley. Can they have enough depth pieces to kind of just be in games? Because we've seen talent in at various skill positions around Valley, but can they put it all together and, like you say, get those 3, 4, 5 wins?
Yeah, I mean, giving up 40 points a game and 400 yards is not the way to win.
Tempo.
So in terms of non-conference schedule, as you said, 4 or 5 wins.
I said if they can deliver.
That's what I'm saying. But it'd be interesting to see, can they sneak some out of the non-conference so the conference schedule is not so heavy to get all those wins. They're going to go on the road to Nichols. They're going on the road to Sacramento State. We know that they just moved up the FBS. So that's a long trip, tough one.
That's a flight.
And then they actually host Delta State, which we know is a Division II program.
Time out. Didn't Delta State beat them recently?
Yes.
Last year?
They beat them in a while.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So they had 3 opportunities.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you get a couple of those
to get
wins,
2
to get 2 in there.
then you get 2 in the conference. You right.
Yeah.
You got to believe they get Lincoln, PA. So that's
and they get fam.
I'm about to say they
fam. That's
let's
great.
go to our next break. We'll come back on the other side. We're gonna go to the Western Division.
If they lose a fan for third time,
it's a problem.
Somebody's phone ring.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, We provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Attention football fans. The Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota is back in Atlanta on August 29th. Representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard. Join us at Center Park Stadium for a full day of tailgating, football, and bands.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We have Joe Clay of 1876 Sports and Culture that has joined us to talk about the Western Division. We still have Kevin Carter. We have my partner in crime, Charles Bishop. With that being said, without further ado, let's get back in there. We will answer the question that was posed to us in the chat before we get out of here. But with that being said, let's start with the Braves. So, Kevin, you're on deck. You can't hide out no more. You got to tell us the truth. What do you think about your Braves? You got Jalen Tolbert coming back. People didn't like the way he started the season, but he had a different finish.
Oh, yeah.
Which side of the track do you believe he's going to come in when you start about this, and what do you think about the rest of your Braves this football season?
I think we got 4 guys on the preseason team opening up there. Tolbert really, really did what Coach Thomas asked of him. He asked of him, like, hey, we need to take the positive yardage when it's time to take it. And it really turned in down the stretch with 4-1 down the stretch, and actually came in. And like you said, the guys with the big head at Jackson State almost had a chance to take him out. I was excited. I was standing right there in the end zone. Hey, boy. Because they thought they had steamroll
I'll tell
City.
you one that was a little bit nervous for a minute there, jumbling off, falling over.
Man, like a cat on the hot tin.
Yeah, but
when that ball came out.
Yeah, but 4-4, and I think and I was looking for the video that we've been playing with Prairie View and Cardell Jones, and him, and the Prairie View coach saying we're not always gonna be down. and then I guess got to thinking about it. I said, boy, they've been beating us to death. So other than y'all co-opting the color scheme, changing things up a little bit. Yeah, don't worry. But I think we're gonna knock off Prairie View. We're gonna win the division. So that's it. We on the road.
Oh yeah. So y'all hosting it, or y'all gonna go on the road?
No, we on the road. We come to PV. I just asked.
No, but you said, but y'all gonna win the division. I mean, y'all hosting the championship game, or y'all going to Alabama State, Jack State?
We're going to Jackson.
Going to Jackson.
Yeah.
Ooh, repeat.
You know why we're going to Jackson? Because, they'll sandbag and lose the game to y'all on the yard. Look, because remember what happened when you had Montez Ivey at the quarterback. He threw for 433 yards. They beat
There's
Jackson
too much
State.
Mississippi love. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough, Mississippi. We gonna take you to
Now let's
Louisiana.
go.
We're gonna do. What are your thoughts on Grambling State coach coming in there, Mickey Joseph,
Yes, sir.
finished with the winning record last year?
Yeah.
As we heard earlier today, you got 3 coaches in the league out of New Orleans. It's an amazing fact when you think about that. When you think about Eddie coming in and bringing it. What are your thoughts in terms of Grambling State this year?
Well, I think the big question mark is around quarterback. I know they named their quarterback back in the spring, but Grambling last year was a little Jekyll and Hyde. Now they were 7-5, but they struggled. They fought with Kentucky State. They get the huge win over Jackson State. They lose to Texas Southern. So which Grambling team are we going to get? And do we get back to this Grambling brand of football that, a lot of our childhood we grew up on, in terms of, and I've often said Grambling doesn't stay down very long. Is this the season that Grambling gets back into the forefront of things? Because, if I'm a Grambling State alum and I'm kind of looking around at Tremaine Jackson, like, really? Year one? No, I want to be back in the thick of things. I want to be back in the football business. So I think that's one of the questions surrounding Grambling. Can they that State Fair Classic? That's going to be huge because that is a litmus test.
Yeah, and if you talking about the State Fair Classic, but if you talk about Braves and Panthers, I don't think they have too much love for the person who coming in. Speaking of those Panthers, and before we do that, one thing Grambling has to find out about the quarterback position. They had news about the transfer quarterback, but as much as you talk about Grambling, you didn't seem too excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, every year we kind of get excited about Grambling because the Grambling's a brand. But they like I said, they were Jekyll and Hyde last year. But kudos to them. That was probably the upset of the season last year, knocking off Jackson State in Las Vegas.
Joe, let's talk about your Panthers. Tremaine Jackson comes in after first year. It's not much way he can go further up, but to win it all. While we saying that, I do like your shirt, 1876 Sports and Culture Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Celebrating the HBCU of Texas.
The HBCU of Texas. That is correct.
Nice. That's a nice little piece there.
Yeah.
Good marketing. Joe.
Yeah, and great apparel too. Hat looks real rich and everything.
Well, you tell
high
the
level,
down the prairie.
high level detail.
Hey, man, when you go to the Celebration Bowl, you got to step up your game, don't
Tip off.
Yeah, y'all collected the bag. Don't pass go.
Speaking of quarterback, what are your thoughts in terms of the Panther? Where are they going to go in terms of the quarterback room? Overall, defense should be strong. But give us some more indications. What are your expectations about Prairie A&M Panthers for 2026?
Well, just as last year, it's going to be we're going to start off with a quarterback by committee. I expect to see at least 2 quarterbacks start the first game against Tarleton State and possibly the next game the following week against Texas Southern. Tevin Carter is a returning part-time starter, so he's going to get first crack at that job. But Coach Jackson brought in about 3 or 4 quarterbacks, 2 of which I believe will be able to compete for that starting role. So we'll see who wins that out. Hopefully they'll take all their bumps that first Tarleton State game and improve upon whatever we see against Texas Southern, because that's going to be a very tough game. I think if Prairie View fans and HBCU fans are not aware of Tarleton State, that's a heck of a team with a whole lot of talent. And so our quarterbacks that do play in that game, they're going to take some hits, and they're going to have to prove themselves, and they're going to have to come out of that game healthy.
Yeah, I know you've been in Texas a long time. You're in Texas in many ways, but you still got Louisiana roots.
Yes, sir.
We talked about New Orleans and the coaches there. Let's go to Southern. What are your thoughts in terms of Marshall Faulk? We got the experience now. Another NFL Hall of Famer comes into the SWAC. I'm interested. What are your thoughts in the private forums? You've been pretty high in terms of how he's recruited, but how's that going to translate in terms of the season for Southern and Marshall Faulk?
Well, when he started out, I'm gonna call him Coach Falk, since Coach Prime wanted to be called Coach Prime. Coach Falk started out digging hard in that Southern Louisiana area, New Orleans especially, because that's where he's born and raised.
Yep, his connections there.
Yep, all his connections there at all the local high schools. He moved out to California and started to look for some talent there. So things started out pretty exciting for them. They got a little quiet. I hadn't heard a lot of recruiting noise since then. So with every other team in the SWAC, it's going to be about quarterback play, right?
Yeah.
The quarterback in the SWAC and college football is the differentiator.
Make or break you.
Yeah.
Make or break.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's got 2 quarterbacks. I'm not sure if they haven't named the starter.
He named the starter.
He named the starter?
Yeah, I spoke with him at the press conference. He's named the starter, and he also talked about the running back transfer from LSU that came over. So that's a big deal. They've taken
Trey Holly.
Yeah,
Trey Holly.
Trey Holly. They
Real
took 15 pounds off of him. He's a little bit more nimble and a little bit more ready to go.
And he's healthy.
And
a lot of times, even though he did everything last year, he battled a little bit of an injury. So that's fascinating. So you'd imagine that they're going to try to run the ball. So that comes down in terms of the offensive line play.
Here's the question that I have is, how does Prairie View react with the target on their back this season?
I believe Coach Jackson has, the coach sets the tone for your team, right? Coach Jackson is not about that foolishness. He's got those guys centered. He allowed them to celebrate the SWAC championship and the Celebration Bowl for a couple weeks, and then it was right back to work, and it was right back to building that team. And we saw how he took 70+ players last year and molded them into a complete unit. I expect him to do the same thing with the transfer players and the returning players he bought in to develop as a team. It may take a couple games, of course, like it did last year, and as we spoke about the quarterback position. But I expect them to play well with that quarterback, that target on their back. I expect for them to show up ready to play every week, because that's what Coach Jackson is. That's who he is. He's proven himself from stop to stop to stop. I don't expect any drop-off. I think everyone in Panther Nation expects to see the same, if not better, product that we saw on the field last year.
Do you think 2 quarterbacks is no quarterback?
No, not at all, because we see this in college football all across this landscape every year, right? Somebody got to step up. The summer is not enough time to decide who the man is. It takes a couple games.
Especially in this new environment with transfers. And I think in some ways the number of transfers he had will help, because a lot of those folks really didn't experience what took place last year.
But also, too, though, I think in those
so they're going to be hungry, and he's going to have that mindset. And it's not going to allow those players to sit on the low, because they're going to be chased for their position.
Right.
Not. So I think in some ways this new model you had that everybody in with transfers, particularly the number he has, is probably going to be a little more beneficial. But let's get on to Texas Southern. Chris Dishman, another NFL player that's come back and is coaching in the SWAC. We got litter of them. Almost half the SWAC has that format, and the other half has the Division II move-up format. So it's interesting to see which of the battle, in terms of how you name your coach, works out. Texas Southern coming in, transfer, Cameron McCoy at the quarterback position. KJ last year for Texas Southern played a hell of a season.
Yeah.
This is a team that's interesting. I think people forgot about it. Last year they finished 6-5. People were somewhat happy about the fact they had the winning season. But I had to remind everybody, when you go back to that first Labor Day game that came down to the last play where they actually got it back in terms of times on it. If Texas Southern wins that game and everything else plays out the same, Texas Southern and Prairie View are tied at 6-2. Because of the head-to-head tiebreaker, Texas Southern goes to Jackson State for the championship game instead of Prairie View having that magical season. So they may not be as far back. And I think Dishman likes the fact that people are not really looking at him.
Exactly.
And he can mold his team to play some football.
Yeah.
Charles, what do you think about Texas Southern?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think they are just, hovering under the radar, if you will. But last season, stability at quarterback. They weren't hurt as much by the injury bug last season, and they found a ground game. Atheon Renfro was a tremendous running back for Texas Southern, and they played with a level of physicality. And one of the things that really kind of jumped out, we've watched Texas Southern sort of wilt in the second half. That didn't happen a lot last year. You actually saw them step up in the fourth quarter. Big win on the road against Grambling, where they were able to eke out a win on the road. So those are the games that we've seen Texas Southern lose of the prior years.
Last one we have in terms of the Western Division is UAPB, the Golden Lions. Some people put them in the same framework of Mississippi Valley State, maybe a little different there. What are your thoughts in terms of the Golden Lions of Pine Bluff?
It's a resource problem, unlike all very similar to the Valley's problem. Valley has some challenge around area, location, the whole nine. But I think what they're battling up there is just the fact that it's just a struggle to get out-of-state players in and working under some constraints. And they've transferred, like they lost their best player to University of Arkansas because they played him a couple of years back, the wide receiver. But on the notion of these coaches, I think their coach does a great job motivating these guys to play. When I say they play hard,
be ready to play.
When they play hard, because they beat us Alcorn at the Southern Heritage last year, and we will be back there on September 12th for that game, looking for some revenge and some get back to show them that
early litmus test.
Yeah, early litmus test with that. But on the piece around the coaches, I think we have found a little niche with the after you take away the pomp and circumstance and a lot of the glitz around Coach Prime coming in with Jackson State, which he did a great job. All these guys, if you just kind of look at it pound for pound with the NFL guys that came to the SWAC, added stability, added credibility, brought in people, but most of all, brought coaches to the position sides of those staffs that may not have normally came. And then the Division II guys came in super hungry, trying to prove something. So you got a group of pros and you got a group of Joes, and you got some guys that's really, really putting their best foot forward to coach these teams up. And I think that's what makes the leagues a lot more balanced and
parity.
It's a lot more balanced than one might think.
Yeah.
Because what you just said, I remembered that part about they owned the tiebreaker, and it would have been Texas Southern in that game.
It throws everybody else when you call them. All right, we'll be back after this last segment. We'll close things up and give you and make these folks come to the truth and say what do they think and how things are going to play out this year for tomorrow. We'll be right back after this last break.
You know it.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
If you've ever told yourself, I want to get into real estate but don't know where to start, here's something just for you. From Friday, July 31st to Sunday, August 2nd, the Learn Real Estate Fast Masterclass is coming to McKenzie Office Park in College Park. You'll learn wholesaling, commercial investing, and how to purchase property with zero money or credit. I can tell you, education and access are everything. This masterclass is designed to give you both. Whether you're brand new or ready to level up, this is where you start making real moves. Enjoy free lunch, free study materials, and receive a certification of completion. So don't wait. Seats are filling fast. Do not sit on the sidelines while others build wealth. Take that first step toward ownership and legacy. Get your tickets now at learnrealestatefast.com or tickpick.com. For more information, call 678-859-3303. Master the market, build your legacy, secure your future today.
Introducing the HBCU Trivia Game. It's more than a board game. It's a journey to the legacy of historically black colleges and universities. Here's how it works. 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, start as freshmen and roll the dice to advance. But here's the twist. You can only move forward by answering trivia questions about HBCU. Test your knowledge of notable alumni, key historical events, sports milestones, and fun HBCU facts. Watch out for spaces that can propel you ahead or set you back. And if you get a question wrong, you stay put until your next turn. The first to reach graduation wins! The HBCU Trivia Game. Support, educate, entertain! Available now. Let the journey begin.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL on August 29th with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota, representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard, Bulldogs, Bison, the Marching Maroon and White, the Showtime Marching Band, the premier FCS matchup in primetime with a kickoff trophy up for grabs. Join us pre-game for fan jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know 'em like I know 'em, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're here with the professors to close things out. We're here with the 2026 SWAC Football Media Day in Birmingham. I do have my press media, and I'm ready to go. I have my flag here with HBCU, so it's really going to be in on tomorrow in terms of looking the part to getting it done. With that being said, it's time to put you all on the spot. Let's get into it, and let's get into your predicted order of finish. We'll see it tomorrow from the media side, but I want to know, Kelvin, I'm going to start with you. In terms of the Eastern Division, who are your top 3 teams and who finished at top?
Top 3 East, Alabama State. Well, Alabama State, Jackson, A&M.
Top 3, Alabama A&M, Jackson, and Alabama State.
With Jackson
Alabama State.
Jackson.
Who do you have winning the East Division?
Jackson.
Do they host, or are they going on the road?
They're probably going to end up hosting just because they're going to have the better record on that side. If you notice, in the last 3 years, that person's been 7-1. They're going to have a better record on that side, and they're probably
go 7-1.
Yeah, you get it.
Staying with the East, Joe. Your top 3 teams of the East.
East, I'm going to go with the perennial Jackson State, number 1. Going with Alabama State, number 2. Alabama A&M, number 3.
Oh, same thing. So you're on the same page?
Yeah, same color
You have
scheme.
Jackson coming out of the East.
Definitely.
Do they host or go on the road?
I'm hoping they go on the road.
So I think where he's going in the West, but with that, East, top 3.
Jackson State, Alabama State, Florida A&M.
Who do you have winning the East?
Jackson State winning the East.
Are they hosting?
They do host, and until Alabama State can prove that they have exercised that demon, I have to go with Jackson State.
All right, sticking with you, Western Division, your top 3.
Prairie View, Alcorn, Texas Southern.
Texas Southern, Alcorn, and Prairie View. Interesting. So you have Prairie View going to Jackson State in a rematch.
I do.
I'm going to go to you, Joe Clay. It is a lot of homers on it.
What do you mean homers?
I'm not the one. I get to ask the question. Joe Clay?
On probation.
You said you hope Jackson State go on the road, but you didn't say who they're going to. So what are your top 3 in the West?
My top 3, Prairie View, Grambling, because I think Coach Joseph is going to get this team playing well.
Wow.
And TSU.
So it finishes early for you in terms of that State Fair Classic. It's basically going to determine the top of the division.
That's the difference.
That's the
that
game.
is going to tell the story.
That's the game.
Now, any given Saturday in a SWAC. So.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. This is predictions and what
Yeah.
it is. We know that it's going to play out on the field, and this is for fun to get people thinking about it and yell at you a little bit because it's not their team. So you have,
Right.
So you have Jackson coming to Prairie View.
I do.
Wow, fascinating.
Yes.
Well, I think we're going to split that vote with this. Looking at the West, top 3 teams.
Prairie View, Alcorn, Grambling.
And so, who do you have winning the West?
Alcorn.
And you so you already alluded earlier that Alcorn actually is going to go on the road for the championship.
Yeah.
We're going to get the back-to-back rematches between Mississippi schools. That would be fascinating.
Well, we're going to have to
Not
go on
way
the
that I
road
want.
just
I
because.
prefer Joe Clay's scenario, but I like that idea.
Well, you double dip with this whole situation. That's the reason why you're not even biased when it comes to this. It's like implicit bias.
Bias is fact.
Yeah. Facts are a purple and gold team will be playing in the SWAC championship.
I like that.
That's a fact.
I like that.
All right.
Final thing here, gentlemen, starting with you, Joe Clay. Anything that we need to think about, and are you saying that listeners need to prepare for tomorrow?
I believe we've got a ton of coaches with a lot of character and swagger in SWAC football. And it's going to be fascinating to me to watch these coaches. Some prove that they can coach, some prove that they can be consistent, some prove that they can develop the quarterback that they need to develop.
Fascinating.
And I think that's what it's going to be. I think this is going to become, if not already, a coaches league.
Good stuff.
And we'll see that tomorrow.
Good. Kevin Carter?
Yeah, I think to piggyback on that, it's getting back to the time when we talked about WC Gordon, until we talked about Caston, we talked about Danzy, we talked about Cooley. You know, the names of the players did resound, but you knew a brand of what was coming based upon the guy that was coming in the front of the tunnel. So I think that's something that, and I think really Tremaine embodies it. Because he embodies it like that. That's a guy I play for every day of the week.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Yeah. Charles, I'll allow you to close it out.
Yeah, I think, kind of to put a brick on what you guys are saying, because the coaching and the coaching staffs have gotten so much better in the league, it adds to the parity. Week in, week out, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You like to predict, but it makes you tune in.
TV ready.
Get your SWAC TV ready, because it makes you tune in week to week, and you're going to get that head turner games. I think there'll be multiple head turner games this upcoming season.
Yeah. That's fascinating when you think about that. Obviously, tune in to HBCU Go. They're in the house, and then you have ESPN, ABC, in terms of them doing what they're doing. So it'll be fascinating to see. From this side, SWAC football and HBCU football all together when you think about the MEAC, SWAC, CIAA, and SIAC. That'll do it for us. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, as Mike Washington is on assignment. So you've been able to be blessed with AD Drew, Kevin Carter, and Joe Clay. Bringing you some love. Of course, my buddy here, Charles Bishop, is giving you all the inside information. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we're here at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. We do plan to give you a show out of Atlanta, because we'll be riding over for the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and that's the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge presented by Toyota. As they do their press conference on Thursday, we'll give you some insights and updates in regards to Howard and Alabama A&M. It'll be fascinating to see what that looks like. And then we get excited as we get into things. Sunday morning, we'll give you updates, and we'll get to talk about any given Saturday.
Given Saturday, right.
We look forward to next Thursday as we discuss the latest news in the lab. But before that, tune in tomorrow as we will be live here giving you all your insights and a slightly different perspective. Make sure you turn in your SWAC TV. You got to get that in. But if you want to get a little different perspective in the way that we get down, make sure you find a way to tune in to BCSN, as we'll give you inside information of what that looks like. We look forward to that tomorrow, and then our show on Thursday. Also, make sure you check out ONG Strike Zone, Charles. Carlos Brown, as he's in town, we've seen that. Kelvin is over here bringing up the ONG, giving his insights in terms of what that looks like. Brian will be in here. So we're excited. We got a full stack deck and a full team, so make sure you tune in us tomorrow. Again, follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyattaCavil. That's Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Joe?
Lecture.
Kelvin?
Class dismissed.
Good one. Knocked it out.